Hey guys, welcome back. Just getting ready to head down the shop. I'm gonna take my ignition housing, my stator housing down there, and tear it apart and replace the rotary seal and the oil seal on the water pump shaft. And just basically, I'm just going through that. I'm gonna go through the gearbox as well and freshen everything up and replace all the possible wear items and just essentially make sure everything's new. You know, the rest of the engine's gonna be brand new, so I'm kind of like, you know. Changing all the bearings, you know, in the gearbox, all the seals, all that kind of stuff. I just want to end up with as new as possible, you know, just across the board, so that the whole thing is really ready to go, and you know, and put some hours on it. There's a special tool that fits this water pump and impeller to take this thing off. It's threaded onto the shaft right here. But the tool is $200, and I think it's special order. But either way, it doesn't matter. I'm not spending $200 on that. Now, I feel kind of silly because I think I actually have the new style rotary seal and impeller and everything because it has the two holes. I don't know. This might all be kind of silly, and it's getting pretty involved. There was nothing wrong with it, but you know, again, it's like, why I'm in here. You got to pull the engine to take this housing off to get to all this. I'd sure like to have everything freshened up and as good as possible, you know, ready for a long life. But so anyway, I've got to make a tool to take this off, and it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think I've got a plan that'll work. Okay, so to avoid buying the $200 tool, we're just going to make a tool, and I had to search around here for a while to find a pipe with the right diameter. So this is actually an old cylinder. That's no good. And I'm going to cut off about 3 inches of this, and then we're going to split it. So I'll cut it off, machine the inside to fit around the outside of the water pump, and then split it. And then, you know, I'll have to weld a pipe on the side. You can put a bolt through. So after I split it, then you can tighten the bolt and pinch around the water pump. That should be able to get a good grip on it without tearing it up. It also allows me to put a cap on the top of this. Like I can weld on a cap when I'm all done and weld on an old socket so that I can put a torque wrench on it to re-tighten it properly. All right, I just burned that on there. So now what I'll do is put this in the chop saw and split this whole thing on one side all the way down, and then put a bolt through it and pinch it back together. Okay, so there it is. It's split, and I can put the lid on it now. It's always good to have some Chinesium sockets laying around, because inevitably when they explode, then you got a perfect thing you can weld onto something else to drive it. So, just making do. All right. So, got that on there. Spin that a little bit here. Okay, I think we're locked in there. I'll try to help kind of hold this too, because we don't want to hang on to any of this important shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that was it.
That was it.
Oh, that wasn't that bad at all.
Well, you never know.
Well,
Or you're hitting on the iron over here. You're done.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on. Back.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. Let's say it. I could do it by hand here. Do it at the place where.
Yeah.
There it goes. Just fits. That ain't wanting to come out, is it? Do we need to get the real press?
Evidently.
So this is the little press, and that over there is the big press. Yeah, you're it.
Okay, so every one of those marks is a ton. It just happens to work out down there with that size cylinder.
Why is this thing pointing down so far? Hold on. Oh, there we go. So you're putting 5 tons on it?
I am.
Did it move?
No.
Let me see.
Well, I'm putting 5. No, I'm putting.
Now hang on.
2 tons.
Hold on, hold on. Just trying to get my hand underneath out of the way here a little bit. What are we up to now? Let's see. Now we're up to about 5 tons?
3.
3? Well, how much should it...
Actually, we're at 2.
How much should it take, you think, to move that?
I don't have it.
Oh, God.
That much?
That much? Of course, it should move a little easier, right?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, see, now it's moving about 1. Now it's less than 1.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm filming and helping do this with one hand, so it's probably not the best.
So, kick it straight out.
Oh. Yeah. It's pretty wet and oily over there. All right, if you'll throw that rag down on there, we can look this over.
All this crap.
Yeah, see what the hell all went on here.
See, now that's what I was telling you about. That's the carbon. And
Okay.
it's got the spring behind it. See how the spring shoves it out against
Okay.
that piece?
Against the inside of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now this one, I don't know what the material is that they're pushing against here.
Looks like metal, you know, like just some kind of...
It could be highly polished metal.
But it's got to be something that's like stainless type metal, right? So it doesn't rust?
It could. That could be exactly what we're looking at here.
So...
And this right here is part. It's real thin, and that's part of this. It'll slide off
Right, but that's the part that you lock tight because
Yes.
they don't want it to leak through
around this.
around
between
that.
here. Right.
Okay, that makes sense now that so I remember reading that and I couldn't picture exactly what that must look like. Okay, so there's the inside of the rotary seal, and then the oil seal's behind it. So there's an oil seal behind it because there's oil behind this cavity running around all the gears that go to the starter and obviously the water pump here, and then this special seal is what seals the water out. It has to be different. It's a complicated seal, but all water pumps have something like this. I haven't messed with too many. Normally I just replace water pumps because they unbolt and bolt on. This is a little different deal here. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the video there for a second and just talk about something that I kind of didn't expect even to come up or to think about, but actually some of you guys had left some comments about this, and I got a couple of emails regarding this here lately, and it got me to thinking, and that is starting the Patreon or like a GoFundMe or something like that. And so far, I signed up for Patreon, and I thought, hey, why not? I could use some support with this channel. I didn't set out to replace my day job or make a bunch of money or anything like that, but it's costing me money to do these videos. Every one costs. I've got a lot of gear, an editing computer, cameras, all the junk that goes with it, and that stuff really does add up, and it costs a lot. And I've got to be realistic. And when my motor blew up, it kind of did set in that, hey, what money you did have saved up is gone now. So I could use a little help. If you guys can help out, that'd be awesome. I really appreciate it. And if you can't, no pressure. Just being part of the channel, watching the videos, share it with a friend, subscribe, any of that kind of stuff really goes a long ways to help build this up. And I really do need to get some more people on board and build this channel up as much as possible. And I'm trying to put a lot of effort into it, and I'm hoping that that'll pay off and more people will be a part of it. The thing about having a channel like this is when you're part of something really awesome like the World of Flying. Being a part of the World of Flying is an amazing thing, and it's awesome. And if I can put out good content that gets other people on board, that makes them want to be a part of the World of Flying, that is freaking awesome. And some people will never be able to do it and maybe can't afford it. And if nothing else, I can deliver, the best content I can to help them experience it that way. And that's important. So it's a good creative outlet for me. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy trying to get better at it and, get better content and deliver that content, in more exciting ways. So, it's fun for me and I do enjoy it, but it does cost money, and anything I can get, to kind of help out with that would be a good idea. So anyway, enough of that. Thanks a lot, guys. I do appreciate being part of the channel. You know, I can produce content all day long, but if I got nobody watching it, it doesn't mean anything. So you guys are the other half of what makes this whole thing work. And I do really appreciate you taking your time, you know, to be a part of this and watch these videos and stuff. That's awesome. It means a lot. So thanks a lot, guys. All right, let's get back to the video. So we're out here in the graveyard looking for parts and pieces. Got to make another tool so we can press the gearbox apart. The tool they want for that is astronomically priced. So we're looking for things that might fit. This is where I come out and build a lot of strange things out of parts and pieces that I find out here. Got some old pistons there out of a diesel engine, Cat, I believe. You never know what you're going to find out here.
Oh, jeez. That should have been close. Boy, as easy as that moves, you'd think it would have lined up.
Yeah, right. That's pretty close, though, for...
Yeah, that's well, plenty close.
This piece we're using to make this tool was an outrigger cylinder on a 680 case backhoe, in case anybody cares. Kind of interesting.
I've had this for at least 33, 34 years.
That's why we hang on to it, because you never know, one day you're going to need it for something. Okay, this one's got a old truck transmission on it and multiple different motors with variable belts and all kinds of stuff. So he's got like tons of speed options on this lathe. It's pretty awesome. Okay, sorry about the wind noise. Wind's blowing about 60 miles an hour today, so building sounds like it's gonna fall down. But anyway, okay, so I just burned that on there, welded on this big hunk of heavy chunk of steel that I found. And now I'm going to take it over, and if I'm going to put it back in the lathe and center up, put a little center mark, machine out just a little center mark with like a center drill. That way, you know when you're pushing in the center, and you can actually set something round in that little machined kind of hole, and that helps to not, you know, like say the cylinder coming out of that press is not perfectly level, and so it's pushing on this and causing this to twist a little bit. By putting in like a round ball, it helps to center that load and divide it more evenly. All right, here we go. We're ready. Normally you just use this bit to start a hole right in the center, and you can put a regular drill bit in it, but I'm just going to get as much as I can with this, and that'll give me enough area to put, like I say, like a round ball bearing or something in there. Okay, so this is a old school scene pattern torch here. It's got an eye there on the table, so you cut out white paper and it follows that white paper on the black table, and I'm not doing that part of it today. I'm just utilizing the fact that it cuts in nice straight lines because you can control it manually. So I'm marking out, I'm going to cut out these squares so you have somewhere to work to get the keepers in and out when you're pulling that gearbox apart. But I just thought I'd use this torch. It does a nicer job than doing it by hand. It's a pretty cool tool. I've spent a lot of hours running this thing when I was younger, working for Dad and stuff. There was a guy in here one time that was telling us about, he had seen one of these somewhere. It was kind of like this. It was done a little differently. I guess the table was a lighter color and the work was a darker color. It was the opposite of this one. And he said, terrible choice in colors, because he said that one day a beetle got on there, a black, colored beetle, and it was walking all over the table, and they were cutting this like 6-inch plate wherever this place was, this big heavy duty torch. And I guess nobody noticed, and that beetle was just walking all over the table and doing his thing, and that torch was over here and just cutting through that metal all over the place. I was like, oh, that's pretty bad. That would be terrible. Just going to preheat this a little bit here, and we'll get her warmed up, and then we'll make a couple cuts here. And we'll see. I got to set this up. Let me think here. It's been a while since I've run this, so direction down, speed, we'll start with whatever that is. Trace is fine. I think I gotta go to manual and then low. I think that'll work. We'll find out. Okay, yeah, so I gotta put that on strip and then it starts moving. It's moving on its own. If I go here, yeah, manually I can kick the oxygen on to cut. Looks like it's pretty preheated. Alright, so there we go. Wish me luck. Looks like it's doing alright. So it's pretty freaking ugly. Pretty rough around the edges, literally. But it's got it where it counts. So, wipe that off. I've got the bottom side flat again. It's precision where it counts and it's strong. It just isn't much to look at. Oh my God, that's loud. Okay, we're gonna see if we can press this sucker apart.
Okay.
Oh, I saw it move. How much did that take?
Nothing. Okay, we're going 2 tons.
Two tons?
2 tons.
Do you need a tool to try to...
No, when that's right, that'll come right out of there.
Let me get a light on it real quick here. Oh, it's right there though. See it? Oh wait, you know what? Hey, Dad, it should come out here. Hold this.
What's going on?
Okay, I had to drop the camera to dig the little keepers out of there because we didn't have enough hands, but they popped right out, and then we let up, and then everything came back up, and now,
Let's bench it.
looking to see if there's wear on the keepers. Doesn't really matter because I bought more. Okay, so that popped out.
Only goes one way, and that's obvious.
It is.
Yep.
And there's a washer there. Okay, now this, okay. Okay, so the next step is we got to get this split bearing thing.
So, too bad it didn't split on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, so I remember reading something about you leave that out until you're all done because when you're putting it in and checking the shims,
It's a booger.
it's a pain, yeah. So we got to split that enough to get it out over these splines, I guess.
I like it.
Okay, we got this little split bearing thing out of here, and what you do after we mess with it for a little bit is you can just use a screwdriver and split it enough to get some little awls or punches or whatever, and poke down in there to keep it out. And then we did end up using these, whatever these are, almost like snap ring plier type dealies, and spreading it enough to actually get it out. But the trick was putting all them little tools down in there to hold this thing split open, and then it popped out of there pretty easy. All right. Okay, and there's that. There's the Bellevue washers beneath it. There's 3 of them, I believe. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's look at the way those were. So they're on video.
Okay. But there also should be a shim in here or something, shouldn't there?
I think this is a shim right here.
But I mean, that's going to be the...
Well, hang on. This is...
Oh, there's some shims right here. Look. See
Oh,
it?
yeah, there's a stack of shims right there. Okay, hold on. Keep that all together so we can see kind of how that went.
I'll go get a piece of wire.
Because not only am I documenting this for other people that might be interested in seeing how this works or doing this work, but I'm doing it for myself so I can put it back together. But that's the eccentric ring that drives the fuel pump.
There she is.
Yeah, that's what drives the fuel pump.
What makes it lock?
Just the everything being crammed on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was next.
Got it.
And then it looks like we're down to another spacer of some kind here. Let's take a look.
On the bottom.
Hang on, let me just look at what this looks like. All right, now we're down to the bearing and, of course, the seal behind it, which they tell you need to change when you're in here. And I ordered them anyway just because I'm not going through all this work and putting used junk back in there. Alright, we're back for more today, and it's nice and windy again. So anyway, today's mission is going to try to build a plate to go around the gearbox so that I can set that gearbox on some blocks and push the prop shaft out of it. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Tried to go outside as maybe it's less noisy, but I'm not sure that's the case with the wind blowing. Hopefully you guys could hear that. Anyway, so the plan is to build a plate, okay, that goes around this and just sticks out, you know, on the sides a little bit. That I can put those big blocks in the press over there, you know, and just set this sucker on it. Alright, so I'm cutting a little pattern this time. I'm cutting out a little circle. This is for the gearbox plate. You can see it's tracing that little paper circle out there. Okay, may not look like much, but here it is, cleaned up, and it fits right over the top here. And the bolt holes all line up well enough. Do you want me to hang on to this?
Yeah, but it probably would have.
You're flexing the plate a little bit. You're up to the halfway. Okay.
Where was I?
About halfway to 1,500.
And then once it cracked loose,
Yeah.
you see how it's hardly.
Yeah, it doesn't take anything now.
A ton is all I needed.
So what did it take to pop it loose?
Well, about 3 tons.
3 tons?
Yeah.
Okay.
20.
All right. All right, back over here at the lathe and making a tool to fit down in to push the bearing out of the gearbox. So you got to heat up the gearbox and to like 200 degrees roughly, and then shove out the bearing, and then I can knock the seal out. So I'm making a shaft that will fit down in the bearing, fit down through it, but it'll have a lip on the side, and that will catch in the spacer, so I can shove the spacer and the bearing out, but not try to do it by shoving through that seal, because I don't know if that'll work too well. So that's the plan. Okay, so here's the tool. It fits down through the seal, through that spacer, and into the bearing, and it has just a little bit of wobble. It fits, good fit, but it catches on that tapered part of that spacer, which then pushes on the bearing. So I should be able to shove all this out. Okay, so
that's got to come out that way.
I missed pressing the bearing out because we were going to heat it up like it said, but Dad decided to just put a little tiny bit of pressure on it with the press just to see. And I wasn't even ready with the camera, and the bearing just popped right out. I mean, it took like nothing to push that bearing out.
Probably took, in reality, probably 400 pounds or something.
400 pounds or something. So he popped it out before I was even ready with the camera because it came out so easy. There's the bearing right there. But anyway, the tool worked. It was just, it ended up not being a big deal to get it out.
Tap on that, baby.
All right, found the right size socket here. It fits in there nice.
Now you get a piece of 3/4 inch shaft or a square socket.
No, but I guess I need to hit it harder.
Yeah.
There it went.
Okay.
All right. There's the seal. It's out.
You achieved complete teardown.
Yep. Finally got it completely apart. All right, guys, we're probably in that video here. Hopefully you got something out of that. Hopefully that was kind of interesting and or informative if you're looking to maybe do some work on your gearbox or water pump on your 9 Series Rotax. It was a learning experience for me. First time I dived into some of that. And, you know, if nothing else, it kind of shows you what kind of tools you're going to have to make and or buy to do that work. And that's really the big part of it. The work itself is not terribly hard to do or complicated. You just need a special set of tools and a press and some things like that to work on all that stuff. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for hanging out and being a part of this channel. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.